wait. Just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded. If anyone would like to sign up for a public comment, please do so in the chat. All yours, Evelyn.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Can we go to the next slide so I can read the statement? The trustees of the Boston Public Library reaffirm our commitment to racial, hold on guys, this thing needs to go, okay, to racial equity and to principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion more broadly. The library is formally committed to becoming an anti-racist organization in response to systemic racism, inequity, and injustice prevalent in our society. We acknowledge also that the Boston Public Library Central Library stands on land that was once a water-based ecosystem providing sustenance to the indigenous Massachusetts people and is a place which has long served as a site of meeting and exchange among nations. We are committed to lend acknowledgements to all locations at which we operate. We affirm this commitment to set the context of our planning, deliberations, and public engagement so that they take place from a spirit of welcome and respect found in our motto, free to all. All right. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yep, I just want to make sure we have one attendee. Elizabeth is in the main meeting space. Can you upgrade her for me, Jay? All right, I'm just going to read your last names. Arano Ortiz.
Present.
Foley.
Present.
Thank you. Knight.
Present.
Ms. Johnson will be absent today. She's traveling. Nagaraja.
Present.
Thank you. And Tyler.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Thank you all for joining. I have to say that because we're not meeting in person, you spared me. I was going to make Puerto Rican guava puffs, pastelillitos de guayaba, and you'll spare me from doing that and bringing them some to the library. So I may have to deliver them personally then. Next.
Evelyn, can I ask a favor? I didn't do a slide for it, but can you approve the meeting minutes?
Oh, yes, sure. Yes, please. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting in August 17th?
Motion to approve.
Second. All right. Do I need to do a roll call again, Pamela? No. All in favor?
Say aye.
Say aye.
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 Any abstentions? Any nays? Okay, meeting minutes have been approved. Thank you so much. All right, Priscilla, the updates.
So we are very excited to announce two big things. One is that with the exception of 2 locations, starting January 2024, all of the BPL branches will be open 9 to 5 on Saturdays. This is a huge commitment that the city gave us with staffing in order to have this be a possibility in every neighborhood. We have a few others that we're working on, and it's fantastic. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that the staff are continuing to do great programs every all 6 days that we're open in the branches. And the neighborhood services manager, Diana, who is on working with her teams, they've been able to bring on 13 additional staff members for this year. So we've been very fortunate to have excellent people coming into the Roxbury branch as well as the system. And then just to point out that the Roxbury branch has a teen paint and sip program tomorrow, and a few other really great things coming up, including the Chess Wizards, which is one of the fellows programs. So really excited to be here today and to hear about everything that's going on.
Excellent. Thank you, Priscilla. Appreciate it. Any questions for Priscilla? All right. That's great news. The extension of the hours. So that's really great news. All right. Miss Candelaria.
Jay, can you make it so that the slides can be advanced? I know he's doing 2 programs right now at this time. Is there any way that you can?
You should have ability, Pamela, and Candelaria also actually should have the
Perfect.
button.
Candelaria, do you see the tab at the bottom for you to advance your slides?
Hold on, let me change glasses so I can see.
If not, I'll do it.
There's a tab at the bottom. I don't see it. The whiteboard tab, is that it?
Nope. It should be like a shaded thing. It will say Control Boston Public Library Slides.
I don't see it.
No, no worries. I can do it for you. Just let me know. Just
Okay.
take the second for it to kick in.
Okay. So advanced slide, please. Okay. This is just an overview of programs from October of 2023 to December 2nd. Okay. I don't have a photo of the orientation because I got so busy doing it that I forgot to take photos this year. But on we had 2 orientations, one on 9/9 that had 11 attendees and one on 9/11 that had 10 attendees. The program categories are the arts. We have a book fair, the Greater Roxbury Book Fair is coming up, dance, film, a masking workshop, which was just featured on Chronicle. The other night, the guy who does it, Dan Callahan, was featured on Chronicle. Music, concerts, and performances, piano lessons, the play reading book club, visual arts, writing, and poetry. Instruction, and again, there's overlap between categories. There's a Brazilian dance class, chair yoga, chess classes, a cartooning workshop for tweens, collage workshop, creativity is meditation, family cooking classes, fundamentals of financial planning, a movers and shakers program, which is for children, piano classes for children and teens, poetry classes, the play reading book club, the senior cooking classes, sewing classes. There are 2 for adults and 1 for families, and the Take the A Train Arts Camp, which is for kids. Health and well-being, art and meditation, the Calm Experience Tween program, which is going to teach kids to use meditation and different things to help them calm anxiety and calm having a quick response, which is not always the best one. Chair yoga, the cooking classes, the Movers and Shakers program, and the Women's Health and Wellness Empowerment Series. And then the audience categories, there's about 5 programs specifically for families, 7 for youth, 10 for adults, and 3 specifically for seniors. The piano classes began on October 7th, and it's interesting, our classes are always filled for the first session, which starts at 9 o'clock, and the attendance is more wonky for the second and third classes. So we've actually brought in kids off the waiting list to come to the for the openings at the 10 a.m. and the 11 a.m. classes. The Mama Used to Say chair yoga, that started on October 2nd and ran on Mondays 2nd to the 30th, and then there was 1 session on Tuesday, and it'll be starting up again in the winter. We've had 2 of the Roxbury Concert Series, the Hemingway Strings on the 28th and Trio Gaia on last Saturday, and those have had very good attendance, more than, I think the last one I counted about 75 people, and of those there were about 10 to 12 kids, and there were about 5 people whose kids are in the piano classes who stayed for that concert. And similar numbers, slightly less, but similar numbers for Hemingway Strings. A new wealth workshop series starts on the 9th, and it runs for 3 sessions in December, and then it will go into January, and that's with the new grantee. The Maconda concert featured Dee Alexander on November 4th. That's a repeat of something that they did the year before. They had 2 shows as usual in robust attendance. The Sewing 101 Boot Camp, the first one happened on October 14th. They're going to have another one in January, and then another one with families later in probably spring. Chess classes, the winter cohort run started on October 4th and runs to December 7th. The play reading book club, The Real James Bond Was Dominican was the play. It was a very, very good play. And that went from October 28th to November 18th with a performance on November 11th, which I was able to attend. The art and meditation workshops began on November 2nd, and they end, actually today, they ended just before we would have been in the branch today. So here are just flyers. So the art and meditation workshops, and if you see the QR codes, I've been making people also have a phone number and or email address because everybody can't get the QR codes to work. So, and they don't also always work online. And so here's some photos. She said that most of the people were very shy, so they didn't want their faces to be taken. But this is some of what they do. They do drawings and stuff. This was when I came in, there was another person over there who they were doing journaling. They had done meditation exercises, and then they did journaling. And then the last 2 sessions, including the one that ended today, there was a 2-session on weaving. So people did these weavings as part of the class. The piano classes, I have lots of photos. This is November 5th. This is the 9 o'clock class. There's twins who have been coming for a few years, and they are always in the 9 o'clock class. And here are some other slides of additional classes on the 5th. In the learning lab space, so sometimes when something's going to be happening in the community room, or like last Saturday, since the Roxbury concert series was happening after we did the classes upstairs so that the room could be set up easily. And that's a parent there who comes pretty faithfully every week. And then if you see here, this young woman here and this young woman here, they're Carlos's assistants, and that's Carlos there. And so sometimes there are 3 people actually teaching the classes, and sometimes there's 2, and sometimes there's 1. So when Carlos has an opportunity to do something else, he plans that in. But this particular woman, Kyoka, is so loving, and she laughs all the time. And a couple of the boys have crushes on her, I can tell. They grin like Goofy when they see her, and they
So funny.
always are asking for help. But she's very charming, and she's very encouraging, and so it's nice to have a variety of styles and people teaching. And this is her with a group by herself one Saturday on the 18th. So this was the first Roxbury concert series of the year, the Hemingway Strings, and that's all of them in the front. And I particularly like this photo, which is Carlos and the teacher at the Boston Conservatory who did the concert. And these are them lining up in the hall, getting ready to come in. And what was interesting, one person when I had posted on the Friends page on Facebook, wrote in to ask if there were going to be any pieces by performers of color. Excuse me. And in fact, there were. And so 2 were by Black performers, and the gentleman here explained all of them. But that was not something that Carlos thought to tell me, because I would have advertised it as part of our advertisement, because I think that's information that people would like to know. But anyhow, if you were there, it was a very, very good concert. And it's just wonderful to hear live music in the library. Okay, and then this is the last Saturday trio, Gaia. That's one view. And this is 2 different views of people. And again, what was nice is like this young woman here, that little girl there. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but anyhow, on the right slide, these were kids who were in the piano classes earlier. Pardon me. The Sewing One-on-One Boot Camp, the first one happened on October 14th. Last year, she did a series of 4 classes on different weeks. This year, she decided to do a boot camp, and then she had her closing ceremony at the end. So the young woman here is a woman named Iris Evans, who does the movers and makers classes. And so she came and took the class herself, and she's holding up a zippered little bag, cosmetic bag that she made. And this is them with the sewing machines. And the reason Leslie wants to give them certificates is that then they can come and arrange time to use the machines that the library owns. And Alan and the staff know that they know how to use those machines because they've gotten the certificate. And this is Leslie. Leslie is a woman who's a Muslim with the head wrap and hijab, and she always has Alan and I come, and she gives certificates to people who participate. So I took slides of 2 of the people who got their certificates. And it's amazing how many people grew up with people who had grandparents or parents who sewed and just somehow never got that skill, and now they really, really want to get them, or they have a sewing machine that they got as a gift or inherited, and now they actually know how to, threading the machine is one of the major lessons of the class, and people are just so thrilled with that. And this is the Chess Wizards chess class on the 1st, and this is after school, and this is kids, playing chess together. We have, the only thing I would say is these chairs sometimes are the bane of my existence because they roll, and all you have to do, boys in particular, love to roll the chairs around. So they're rolling away, and I'm saying, please stay still. I don't know if the chairs can lock, but sometimes they have a feature that they can lock. It would be nice. For some of them, it's very distracting, but they're very intent, and they first have free play, and then the instructor pairs them with particular ones who are at the same skill. Parents come in and play each other, and sometimes parents will play their own skills, their own kids. But having parents in the classes is a mixed bag. For some kids, it's really good. They maintain behavior, but for other kids, it's really distracting, and the parents intervene and don't give the teacher the freedom to control the class. So a couple of them, I've asked the parents, suggested to the parents, why don't you go downstairs and why don't you go and look at da-da-da? It might be better for your child not to have you, breathing down their neck. This was, Mama used to say, chair yoga and the introduction to yoga's ethical principles. And it's again going to start up again in January, another session. But this is people doing some stretches. In this particular class, usually there's seniors who are attracted to this class, but there's a woman who's a stay-at-home mom and a single parent, and she brought her daughter because she didn't have childcare. It was rather distracting, because and I played with the girl for a little while and actually had her coloring with me to distract her, and sort of suggested to the mother maybe she should bring some coloring pages or something. She wouldn't go to the children's room, but people were very understanding. And then the instructor, Michelle, was asking what should she do, and I said you might want to poll the other parents to ask how the other participants to ask how they feel. Was it too much of a distraction? And so she said she was going to do that and then decide what to do. This is the Real James Bond reception. This is a reception from people from various play reading book clubs that are happening around the city, but there's several people there from from the Roxbury branch. So there's a woman in a maroon sweater in the front, and just behind her standing up is another woman from the Roxbury branch. So there's several people in the group that come to discuss the plays at the Roxbury branch. And these two people have been there since the first year of the series, which started at the Roxbury branch. And this is a photo from the playbill. And he's holding up the guy of there was the gentleman who he believes and made a very convincing case was a model for Ian Fleming's James Bond. So, and then this was, there was a reception beforehand. And so on the left slide, most of the people at the table in the back behind the lady in the red jacket were all participants from the Roxbury branch. Starting December 9th is the New Wealth Workshop series. It's a young person who's teaching it, a younger person, and he's very enthusiastic. He actually made arrangements, I think, to come today or tomorrow to view the room that he'll be teaching in. And so that starts, and he's very excited. And he was saying to me that it was booked at capacity. I said, somebody is going to drop off, so you should, add a few more people. And then I could not get the link to reproduce in the slides, but we had, I sent it to everybody on the advisory board. We had really good coverage of two of our grantees in the Bay State banner. It happened to be in the same issue. So the first was Zahili Gonzalez Zamora did the Roxbury concert series last year. And so her photo was in it. And it's interesting, she was supposed to participate in the concert, but the person who was going to do it ended up having to have surgery. So she substituted with her own trio. So this was the photo that was in the banner. And Carlos had no idea that somebody had called him, but he didn't know that they were going to cover it this year. And then the other person was Jay Villar, who is with Haley House, the Take Back the Kitchen classes. So they talked about a lot about his journey, how he got to Haley House and the kinds of things he's doing as a program manager for the Haley House. And the lot here is in Roxbury. So a lot of the lettuce and herbs and stuff that Haley House uses in the Take Back the Kitchen classes, as well as at their soup kitchen, are grown here. And in, I think it's 2025, the Haley House Cafe will open again in the Nubian Square area, because the building, a new building is being built, and they'll have a different, larger cafe. But it was very nice to see that kind of coverage. And like I said, Chronicle had Daniel Callahan on. It didn't mention our classes, but it was just nice to see that he was getting that publicity. And here's Dee Alexander singing. I wasn't able to be there that night, so John gave me a few screenshots from the broadcast of it. And this is the horns on the left, and then City Strings, which is a group that does teaching out of for 12th Baptist Church. And the head of it, Bithia Israel, she actually got a grant last year to do programs. So they're actually, City Strings is expanding to 3 or 4 sites. So that they were, so they're always trying to get some people to come in addition to the people that they always get in, the more famous musicians. And then I just wanted to share with you the Greater Roxbury Book Fair, which is going to happen on May 18th. And the adult featured author is Ibram X. Kendi, who's ensconced at Boston University. And then the kids featured author is Jacqueline Woodson, and she's just best-selling young adult, particularly her Brown Girl Dreaming she came and spoke to the library a few years ago. And so she's just an excellent speaker, and she's now started a fellowship. And then there are other people who are poets who have some of self-published books, some traditional press books. Jabari Asim is a professor at Emerson College, and he's done everything from, I give his 2 children's picture books, Whose Knees Are These and Whose Toes Are Those, to new parents all the time. But he has a lot of adult novels and poetry. And then Raul III is another person who's very, very popular with young people.
Candelaria, Jabari was also a trustee.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. And he's from St. Louis. So he's born on my mother's birthday, and he wrote a novel about St. Louis, which I bought, and he was like 95% accurate. So I give him props for that, because there's certain things that people from St. Louis always test each other. Do you know about buffalo fish? Do you know about fried tripe? If you don't, then you might not really be from St. Louis. So it's going to be a really mixed bag of local people. Aqua Holmes, who's won all these awards as an illustrator of children's books. And this is a partial list. One of the things that came up with this was we had to find out, I had to go to the HR to find out if all these people needed to be queried before they could be at the festival. And it turns out they don't. So that was good, because it was going to be kind of embarrassing asking Jacqueline and Ibram Kendi to be queried, right? So that worked out. And that's it. That's what's happened this year. And as I drop in on programs, if there's more than one session, I try to drop in at least 2 times. I try not to drop in on the first session, because usually things go whackety whack and people are nervous unless it's only a single session. But the programs are going well. There's a lot of people cross attending, and we've also had people. There was a guest last Saturday. After the Roxbury concert, there was a Palestinian woman who had done a children's book, and she was going to be at the branch that afternoon. And Akuna told me that they had a couple of registrations based on what I had posted on Facebook. So people are coming to different programs. So
Right.
the resources are doing well.
May I?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep, I stopped in on Saturday for that Palestinian author. It was quite a packed room. I had to assist with putting chairs out twice. It was a really lovely story. I stayed in for about half of the reading. It was a really well-attended event.
I'm glad. I'm very glad. So it's nice to see we're getting different people. And again, people who are coming to the piano classes are also coming for other things. So that's nice. So that's the end of my
Excellent.
presentation.
Great programs. I wish, I was away in November for 3 weeks, and I would have loved to see that play.
Yeah.
Dominican. Was it funny?
Yeah, it was funny and touching and all kinds of things. I have the playbill, so at some point when I know I'm going to see you in person, I can bring it to you. He also wrote a memoir, and he's just a very handsome guy, and he's very personable. But it touched politics, it touched misogyny, it touched colorism in the Latin community, it touched all kinds of things. But then it also made you laugh. So I thought it was very good. And I think, Elizabeth, did you get to see it?
Oh, I actually was away as well.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, I see China's Representative Tyler's hands up.
Yes, I just want to say thank you. That was really good, and I was really happy to see how wide the programming is. It seems like you hit so many different, an array of different interests and just in different working in different groups of folks. So I was actually pretty happy with the presentation. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. That was great. I love the vibrancy that it brings to the library. So that was great. All right. Any new business? Anything we need to chat about? Not on the agenda.
Just you have to schedule your next meeting.
Oh, I don't have a next meeting. Oh. All right. So usually we do it when?
Candelaria, is it March? February or March?
Mute it.
I think it was February last year.
I think we did it around school vacation kind of time frame. Does that work? To do it around that time? Mid-February?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let me see. Calendar. Is that the week?
Priscilla, do you know when February vacation is?
It's the week of the 19th.
Thank you.
I'm just looking up to see if I know I have it. I'm just seeing what I have.
To me.
Yeah, I had one on February. We had it on February 16th last year.
Okay. So the Thursday or Friday of that week, it's fine with me.
That would be the 15th or the 16th?
I lied. Hold on. Yes, that would. Yes.
The Thursday would be better for me.
Does everyone feel like this is a good time? I assume we would schedule it for in person and then same as today with the
The only thing I would say is that if you did it in March, more programs will have happened.
okay.
So there'd be more to see.
March.
But if you do it in February, we'll just share what we have, that's happened and what's coming up.
Yeah, March is fine. How about, do you want mid-March or late March?
I'd say late March.
Late March. Okay, so
I just need to keep it away from the 26th because that's my board meeting and there's just too much preparation that goes into that.
Yeah, no, that's.
So do you want the 21st?
That works for me.
That works
That
for
work
me.
for everybody?
Yes.
21st is fine then.
Alan, did we get your approval?
Does everyone agree that to do it in person or
Is
do
it
we
in
want to schedule it
person or
online?
Zoom? That's my question. Is it in person or Zoom? I didn't look at our calendar.
That's what I was just thinking.
If Evelyn's going to feed us, then it should be in person.
I agree. I agree.
With my treats.
Representative
Just so everyone
Tyler.
knows, by doing it in person, I do have to stream it via Zoom as well. It will not be like this though. It will not be official. It will basically be my laptop at the front of the room. You know what I mean? And streamed that way. But the 21st around noontime, is that what we were thinking? Or 12:30? What
Yeah,
is
That's
Okay.
fine.
Alan, can we reserve the smaller room? Because we don't need the bigger
Representative
room.
Tyler has her hand up.
Representative?
Oh, I don't think I know how to, like, I put it down, but it's just not working.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
But I'm fine. That time works for me. Thursday is good for me, so that's fine.
So are we saying 12 or 12:30?
12 is
Okay.
fine. 12 is fine.
12 o'clock. Okay, so are we looking at an hour and a half or an hour?
I would say an hour and a half, but just leave it an hour.
Okay, I'm gonna say 12 to 1 on the 21st, and I will send out calendar holds for everybody. Alan, I'll touch base with you after this about
Okay.
reserving the smaller
Sounds
conference.
good. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
All right. All right, with that.
no
Public,
public comment.
don't have any attendees in the public comment? And I think with that, we adjourn.
Thank you. Have a good holiday season.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Holidays, everyone.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Bye.